The glass beneath Jessica's palms was cold. She pressed harder, steadying herself as morning light carved shadows across the Manhattan office. 2 years of this. 2 years of his voice cutting through her confidence like a blade. The elevator chimed. Italian leather on marble. Her pulse kicked up despite every attempt at control. Dominic Hail entered the conference room like winter itself. Sharp jawline. Blue eyes that saw everything, forgave nothing. At 38, he had built an empire and buried anyone who dared challenge him. Jessica straightened, refusing to break. Miss Starling. His voice was silk over ice. I assume you have something worth my time. The emerging market analysis shows significant opportunities in technology. She activated her presentation. Months of work condensed into 30 slides. He interrupted at slide 3. Interesting. You've compiled data any competent intern could gather in half the time. Heat flooded her cheeks. Around the table, her colleagues looked away. The research goes beyond surface metrics. The projections indicate substantial growth potential. Projections based on what? Optimism. He turned to the room. This is the problem with analysts today. They confuse wishful thinking with strategy. Jessica tasted copper where she bit her cheek. This was never about the work. With everyone else, he was demanding. With her, he was cruel. The projections are based on 15 years of historical data, current market trends, and 3 independent expert consultations. All documentation is in the appendix. Something flickered in his eyes. Surprise, maybe, or respect. It vanished before she could be sure. Proceed. The presentation passed in tense silence. When she finished, Dominic stood without a word and left. He's absolutely impossible, Rachel whispered, once the door closed. I don't know how you put up with it. Jessica's hands trembled as she gathered her materials. I need this job. My mother's medical bills won't pay themselves. The truth was simpler than anyone knew. Her mother's multiple sclerosis. Her brother's final year at Columbia. She was their lifeline. Dominic's hostility was just the price. That afternoon, her canvas bag slipped from her chair. Contents scattering across the floor. Pens. Phone. A cream envelope. A hand reached it first. Jessica looked up. Dominic stood over her, holding the invitation between his fingers. What is this? Her breath caught. He never came to the analyst floor. It's personal. May I have it back? He ignored her outstretched hand, scanning the envelope. His jaw tightened. Christopher Blake, he said the name like poison. You know Christopher Blake? I grew up with Christopher. We've been friends since childhood. Not that it's any of your concern. Something dark crossed his face. Before she could stop him, he opened the envelope and extracted the card. Private dinner at Oriole. How charming. Christopher always did have expensive taste. His voice dripped contempt. Is this really the caliber of man you spend your time with? Fire shot through her veins. That's completely inappropriate. My personal life has nothing to do with you or this company. He stepped closer, backing her against her desk. She could smell his cologne. Something expensive and woodsy that made her head swim. You represent Sterling Global, Miss Starling. Your associations reflect on this firm. It's ridiculous, and you know it. She snatched the invitation back. Christopher is a respected businessman and a good person, which is more than I can say for some people. The words hung between them like smoke. Dominic went very still. When he spoke, his voice was barely controlled. Are you planning to accept his invitation? That's none of your business. Answer the question. Jessica lifted her chin. Yes, I am. For 1 second, the mask slipped. Pain, raw and unmistakable. Then it was gone, replaced by cold stone. I expected better judgment from you, Miss Starling. He turned and walked away. Behind her, Rachel whispered, What on earth was that about? Jessica sank into her chair, clutching the invitation. Her heart pounded for reasons she refused to examine. The way he looked at her. It wasn't just criticism, it was something far more dangerous. She pulled out her phone and typed, I would love to have dinner with you. Saturday works perfectly. As she hit send, she told herself it was about Christopher, about kindness, about proving Dominic had no power over her choices. But deep down, she knew the truth. She wanted to see what he would do next. The days after felt like walking through a minefield. Dominic stopped criticizing her in meetings. Instead, he kept her close. Projects requiring his direct oversight. Consultations that stretched longer than necessary. His attention was a spotlight burning her skin. Wednesday afternoon, third summons to the executive floor that week. Patricia whispered, "He's been in a mood all week." "Good luck." Jessica knocked twice. Dominic's office was all clean lines and power. Floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking Central Park, autumn leaves blazing gold. His desk held only a laptop and crystal tumbler of scotch despite the early hour. "You wanted to see me?" He looked up. For a moment, exhaustion shadowed his eyes. "The Brennan merger. I need you to lead the due diligence team." Jessica blinked. "That's a senior-level assignment. Rachel usually handles those. Rachel isn't you." He stood, moving to the windows. "You're capable of more than you realize, Miss Starling." "I've always known that." The words didn't match the man who'd spent 2 years tearing her down. "I don't understand." "You've spent years telling me I'm inadequate." His jaw tightened. "I never said you were inadequate. I said you were wasting your potential." That's not how it felt. He turned to face her, and the intensity in his eyes made her step back. "How did you meet Christopher Blake?" "Why does that matter?" "Answer me." "Summer before high school. His family moved in next door." She crossed her arms. "Why are you obsessed with this?" "Because you deserve better than a man who sees you as a prize to collect. You don't know him. I know exactly what he is." Dominic moved closer. "Christopher Blake. Trust fund. Failed startup. Connections bought with daddy's money. He's been through a dozen women in the past year alone." Jessica's stomach turned cold. "How do you know that?" "I make it my business to know things." "You investigated him?" Her voice rose. "You had no right." "I had every right." He was close enough now. She could see flecks of gray in his blue eyes. "Saturday night, you'll go to dinner. He'll be charming. He'll make you laugh. And at the end of the night, he'll expect payment for his investment of time." "You're disgusting, I'm honest." His voice dropped. "Cancel the dinner, Jessica." She froze. He'd never used her first name before. "No," something dangerous flashed across his face. "Then I'll be there." "Excuse me?" "Oriole." 8 p.m. I'll be at the bar." He returned to his desk, as if discussing weather. "Consider it quality assurance. Making sure Sterling Global employees aren't being taken advantage of. You can't be serious. Deadly serious." Jessica felt fury and something else, something that made her pulse race. "What is wrong with you? Why do you care?" The question hung in the air. Dominic's hands gripped the edge of his desk. For a long moment, he said nothing. Then, quietly, "Because 2 years ago, I watched you walk into my company. 26 years old. Brilliant. Determined. Everything you did was perfection wrapped in kindness." He looked up, and the raw pain in his eyes stole her breath. "And I knew if I let myself get close to you, I'd destroy you. The way I destroy everything I touch." The confession hit like a physical blow. "So you pushed me away instead. I tried to make you quit. To save you from me." A bitter laugh. "But you wouldn't break. You just kept coming back. Kept fighting, and I hated you for it. For making me want things I have no right to want." Jessica's heart hammered. "What things?" He moved around the desk with predatory grace. "You coming home to me? Waking up next to me? Being mine in every way that matters." "Dominic, I can't, I know." He stopped just short of touching her. "I'm a bastard. I'm cruel. I've made your life hell because I couldn't stand watching you smile at anyone else. And now Christopher Blake thinks he can have you?" His voice turned razor sharp. "Over my dead body." Jessica should have left. Should have run. Instead, she heard herself whisper, "Then stop me." The air between them crackled. Dominic's hand rose, fingers hovering near her cheek. Almost touching. Not quite. If I touch you now, I won't stop. And you deserve someone whole. Someone good. Someone who isn't broken in ways that can't be fixed. Who says you get to decide what I deserve? His phone buzzed. He glanced at it, and his expression shifted to shock, then rage. What is it? He turned the screen toward her. A photo. Christopher Blake at a nightclub, his arm around a blonde woman. The time stamp. Last night, below it. A message from an unknown number. Thought you should know what your childhood friend does on Tuesday nights. He's meeting her again tomorrow. Same time, same place. While he makes plans with Jessica Starling, Jessica felt the floor tilt. Who sent this? Dominic's voice was ice. Someone who wants me to know Christopher is exactly what I said he was. But Jessica saw something else in his eyes. Guilt. You sent this to yourself. Understanding crashed over her. You're the one who's been investigating him. You orchestrated this. His silence was confirmation enough. Jessica grabbed her bag and headed for the door. Where are you going? She turned back, fury and something deeper burning in her chest. To that dinner. To see for myself who Christopher really is. And then I'm going to decide what to do about you. The door slammed behind her, but she felt his. Eyes on her back, all the way to the elevator. Saturday was coming, and everything was about to explode. Saturday evening arrived, wrapped in autumn rain. Jessica stood before her mirror, smoothing the emerald dress she'd bought specifically for tonight. Not for Christopher. For herself. To prove she was in control, the lie tasted bitter. Oriole glowed like a jewel box through the rain. Soft lighting, white tablecloths, the quiet murmur of Manhattan's elite. Christopher was already there, standing as she approached. Blonde hair perfectly styled, warm smile that used to make her feel safe. You look stunning. Thank you. She let him kiss her cheek, scanning the room. There, at the bar. Dominic in a dark suit, tumbler of scotch catching the light. He didn't look at her. Didn't acknowledge her existence. But she felt him watching. Every breath, every movement. Christopher ordered wine. Made her laugh with stories about their childhood. Reminded her of summer days when life was simple. He was kind, attentive. Everything Dominic wasn't. So why did her attention keep drifting to the bar? I've wanted to do this for years, Christopher said, reaching across the table. You and I make sense, Jess. We always have. Christopher, I know you've been through hell at Sterling Global. That boss of yours? His expression darkened. I've heard stories. The way he treats you? You deserve better than that. It's complicated. It doesn't have to be. He squeezed her hand. Come work for Blake Enterprises. I'm opening a new venture capital division. I want you to run it. Jessica's breath caught. What? Full autonomy? Double your current salary. No more toxic bosses? His smile widened. And maybe finally, a chance for us. It was everything she should want. Escape. Opportunity. Kindness behind Christopher. Dominic stood abruptly and walked toward the exit. Excuse me, Jessica heard herself say, I need the restroom. She found him in the hallway near the coat check. Rain hammered the windows, leaving already. Dominic turned. The look in his eyes was devastation, barely contained. I can't watch this. Watching him touch you. Watching you smile at him. You don't get to be jealous. Not after everything, I know. He stepped closer. But I am. I'm burning alive with it. He offered me a job. Double the salary. A chance to run a division. Something shattered in Dominic's expression. You should take it. Should I? Yes, the word was broken. Take the job. Take the life. Take him if that's what you want. Just stop destroying me by existing in my space and not being mine. Jessica moved closer, close enough to feel his heat. What if I told you I don't want him? Then you're a fool. But his voice was rough, desperate. Maybe I am. The space between them crackled with electricity. Dominic's phone buzzed. He glanced at it, and his face went white. What? He showed her the screen. A video. Christopher at a nightclub, pulling the blonde from the photo into a private booth. The timestamp. Tonight. 2 hours before their dinner, below it a message. He left her bed to meet yours. Still think childhood friends matter? Jessica felt sick. Who keeps sending these? I don't know, but Dominic's voice was strange. Hollow. She grabbed his phone, scrolling through messages. Found the thread. Found the pattern, and then she found it. A sent message, deleted but recovered in the cloud backup. Send the next update at 9 p.m. Make sure the timestamp is clear. From Dominic's phone. Jessica looked up. You sent all of it. The photos. The videos. You manufactured all of this? Jessica. I can explain. You hired someone to follow Christopher. To set him up? To make him look like he was cheating when he wasn't. That blonde is probably an actress you paid. Her voice rose. You sabotaged everything because you couldn't stand the idea of me being happy with someone else. That's not don't lie to me. Tears burned her eyes. At least Christopher was honest. He wanted me, and he said so. But you've been playing games, manipulating, making me doubt everything. The feelings were real, Dominic said, voice breaking. Everything I felt, everything I said about wanting you, that was real. It doesn't matter. Jessica shoved his phone back at him. Real feelings wrapped in lies are still lies. She turned to leave. Wait. Dominic grabbed her wrist. There's something else you need to know. About Christopher. About why I really investigated him. I don't want to hear it. He's the one who leaked your family's medical information to the press 3 years ago. Jessica froze. 3 years ago, a gossip site had published details about her mother's condition, her brother's scholarship, painting them as charity cases. It had been humiliating. Devastating. They never found the source. You're lying. I have proof. Dominic pulled out his phone, scrolling to a file. Email correspondence. He sold the story for $5,000. Thought it would make good publicity for his philanthropy work. The emails were damning. Christopher's account. His words. Her family's pain monetized. Jessica's legs went weak. Why didn't you tell me before? Because I knew how it would look. Me. Trying to sabotage your relationship. You'd never have believed me without seeing me as the villain. His voice cracked. I am the villain. I lied and manipulated and orchestrated evidence, but this is real. And I couldn't let you fall for a man who'd hurt your family for pocket change. Jessica stared at the emails, her world tilting. I need to go. She walked back into the restaurant on autopilot. Christopher looked up with that warm smile, and all she saw was the betrayal. Everything okay? Did you sell my family's medical information to a gossip site 3 years ago? His smile faltered. What? Who told you that? Did you? Jessica, it was complicated. The publicity helped my charity launch. I donated the money to medical research. She threw her wine in his face. The restaurant went silent. Stay away from me. Stay away from my family. And your job offer? I'd rather starve. Outside, rain soaked through her dress. She stood on the sidewalk, shaking. A car pulled up. Dominic's town car. He stepped out, holding an umbrella. Didn't speak. Just stood there. You destroyed him, Jessica said. Yes, you manipulated me. Yes, you're a monster. Yes, his voice was quiet, raw. But I'm a monster who loves you. And I'd burn the world down before I let anyone hurt you again. Jessica should have walked away. Should have run from this man who'd lied and schemed and twisted truth into weapons instead. She stepped forward and kissed him. The umbrella fell. Rain poured down. And Dominic kissed her back like a drowning man finding air, his hands tangling in her wet hair, pulling her closer until there was no space between them. When they broke apart, both breathless, Jessica whispered, I hate you, I know. I mean it, I know. He pressed his forehead to hers. Hate me forever. Just don't leave me. You don't deserve forgiveness. I don't want forgiveness. I want you. And standing in the rain, wrapped in the arms of a man who'd orchestrated chaos just to keep her close, Jessica realized the most terrifying truth of all. She wanted him to. 3 weeks later, Jessica stood in Dominic's penthouse as dawn painted Manhattan gold. His shirt hung loose on her frame. Coffee steamed between her palms. This had become their routine. Nights tangled together. Mornings pretending the outside world didn't exist. You're thinking too loud? Dominic emerged from the bedroom, hair still damp from the shower. Your investors are circling. The board wants answers about us. Let them circle. Lips against her temple. I told you. I don't care what they think. You should. Jessica turned in his arms. Sterling Global's stock dropped 8 points since word got out about the CEO dating an analyst. Patrick Brennan pulled his merger. Your reputation is less important than this. He kissed her slow and deep. Than you. Jessica wanted to believe him. But she'd spent 3 weeks watching his empire crack under the weight of their relationship. Investors demanding explanations. Colleagues whispering. Rachel had stopped speaking to her entirely, convinced Jessica had slept her way to the Brennan project. I'm resigning. Dominic went still. No, it's the only way to stop the bleeding. If I leave, the scandal dies. Your company recovers? I said no. His voice turned to steel. You're not sacrificing your career for this. For me, someone has to make the smart choice. She pulled away, and we both know you won't. Jessica, I love you. Words came out steady. True, but I won't watch you destroy everything you built. Not for me. His phone buzzed. He ignored it. It buzzed again. Answer it, Jessica said. Dominic's face went pale as he read the message. He handed her the phone. It was from the board chairman. A meeting. Emergency session. Monday morning. Vote of no confidence, unless Dominic could prove the relationship with Jessica wasn't affecting his judgment. They're going to force you out, Jessica whispered. Let them try. Shh, or I leave. Right now, publicly, issue a statement that I pursued you, manipulated you, that you're the victim. She met his eyes. I save your company and we end this. Are you insane? Dominic grabbed her shoulders. I would burn Sterling Global to the ground before I give you up. It's exactly the problem. Jessica's voice broke. You would. You'd sacrifice everything. Your life's work. Your legacy. All of it. Because you've never learned how to love something without destroying yourself for it. The truth hung between them like broken glass. What about your mother? Dominic's voice was quiet. Dangerous. Your brother? Without Sterling Global's salary and benefits, how will you don't? Jessica stepped back. Don't use them as leverage. Not using them. I'm reminding you what you'll lose. I'll find another job. Every firm in Manhattan knows what happened. Christopher Blake made sure of that. Dominic's jaw tightened. He's been spreading rumors. That you're unstable. That you traded sexual favors for advancement. That I'm covering for your incompetence. Jessica felt the room spin. What? I didn't want to tell you. I've been handling it. Legal threats. Payoffs. Whatever it takes to protect you. He moved closer. But if you leave me now, I can't shield you anymore. You'll be blacklisted. Unhireable. So my choices are stay and watch you fall, or leave and destroy myself. Your choice is to trust me. Dominic cupped her face. I have a plan. Monday morning, I'm announcing a restructure. Making you a partner? Equal stake. Equal voice. Not my employee. My equal. Jessica's breath caught. The board will never approve. I don't have a choice. I own controlling interest. And I'm using it to make sure you can never be taken from me again. His eyes burned. Stay. Fight with me. We'll weather this together. It was everything she wanted. Everything she feared, and if we fail, if Sterling Global collapses and takes us with it, then we fail together. He kissed her forehead. But we don't fail by giving up. Jessica closed her eyes, feeling the weight of impossible choices. Stay and risk everything. Leave and lose everything. Before she could answer, the penthouse door burst open. Patricia stumbled in, rain-soaked, makeup smeared by tears. Mr. Hale, I'm so sorry. I tried to stop them. I tried behind her. 2 men in suits entered. Federal agents. It's Dominic Hail. You're under arrest for securities fraud, insider trading, and obstruction of justice. The world tilted. What? Jessica moved between them. There's been a mistake. No mistake, ma'am. The lead agent pulled out handcuffs. We have evidence he's been manipulating stock prices, using company funds for personal vendettas, and falsifying merger documents. Dominic's face had gone completely blank. Jessica, don't say anything. Call Marcus. Heal. The evidence came from Christopher Blake, the agent continued. He's been cooperating with our investigation for 6 months. Every manipulation, every lie. Every time Mr. Hale hired private investigators or paid off sources, Mr. Blake documented all of it. Jessica's stomach dropped into freefall. 6 months, she whispered. That's before I even accepted his dinner invitation. Mr. Blake approached us after Mr. Hale attempted to sabotage his business dealings. The agent snapped cuffs around Dominic's wrists. He's been working undercover to expose criminal activity, including using you, Miss Starling, as bait. The room spun. No, Jessica said. Christopher wouldn't. He recorded your conversations. Photographed evidence. Even the dinner at Oriole was staged. The agent's expression softened. You were his access point to Dominic Hail. He played you both. Dominic's eyes met hers. Pain, fury, guilt. I'm sorry, he said, for everything. For pulling you into this, for save it for the judge. The agents pulled him toward the door. Wait. Jessica grabbed the lead agent's arm. The fraud charges. The evidence. I know Sterling Global's books. I can prove Dominic didn't miss Starling. Dominic's voice was firm. Final. Don't. What? Don't throw yourself into this fire. You have a chance to walk away clean. Take it. Are you serious right now? Tears burned her eyes. After everything, you're pushing me away again? I'm saving you. His voice cracked. The one thing I should have done from the beginning? Let me go, Jessica, please. The agents let him out. The door closed, and Jessica stood in the empty penthouse, surrounded by the ruins of everything they'd built. On the counter, Dominic's phone buzzed. A message from an unknown number. Told you I'd make him pay for what he did to my family's business 5 years ago. You were just collateral damage, Jessica. Sorry about that. See, Jessica's legs gave out. Christopher hadn't been her childhood friend protecting her. He'd been her enemy's enemy, using her as a weapon. And Dominic, for all his manipulation and lies, had been trying to protect her the only way he knew how, by becoming the villain. By taking all the blame, by pushing her away before the explosion, the ultimate sacrifice wrapped in cruelty. And now he was gone, and she was free, and it felt like dying. Jessica grabbed her phone with shaking hands, dialed the only number that mattered. Marcus. It's Jessica Starling. I need to hire you. Because I'm about to commit career suicide by proving Dominic Hail is innocent. Outside, rain hammered the windows. And for the first time in 3 weeks, Jessica knew exactly what she was fighting for. Not love. Not redemption. But truth. Whatever the cost. 4 months later, Jessica stood outside the federal courthouse. November wind cutting through her coat. She'd lost weight. Lost sleep. Lost her job when Sterling Global's board demanded her resignation. But she'd found something else. Evidence. Truth buried in layers of Christopher's lies. Marcus emerged from the courthouse doors. Exhaustion written in every line of his face. The judge wants to see you before final sentencing. Dominic's asking for you. Jessica's heart stuttered. She hadn't seen him since the arrest. He'd refused all visits, sent back every letter unopened. The holding room was gray concrete and fluorescent lights. Dominic sat in an orange jumpsuit, hands cuffed. For months had carved hollows in his face. But when he saw her, something sparked in those blue eyes. You shouldn't be here. Probably not. Jessica sat across from him. But I've been doing a lot of things I shouldn't lately. Jessica, I found it. All of it. She slid a folder across the table. Christopher fabricated the merger documents. He hacked Sterling Global's servers and planted fake evidence. The stock manipulation. That was him too, trying to tank your company before framing you for it. Dominic stared at the folder. How? I spent 3 months tracking his digital footprint. Called in favors from every IT specialist I've ever met. Rachel helped, actually. Turns out, she felt guilty about how she treated me. Jessica's voice steadied. The recordings Christopher gave the FBI. I proved they were edited. Spliced conversations. Words taken out of context and rearranged. Why? His voice was rough, broken. Why would you risk everything for this? For me? Because you did the same for me? She met his eyes. You pushed me away to save me. Took the blame for crimes you didn't commit. Let yourself be destroyed rather than drag me down with you. That's not manipulation. That's sacrifice. I still lied to you. Still orchestrated, you're not a good man. Dominic. Jessica's words were soft, honest. You're controlling, possessive. You played games with my life because you couldn't stand your own feelings. But you're not the monster Christopher tried to paint you as. You're just broken. And so am I. Tears tracked down his face. You should hate me, I do. She smiled through her own tears. I hate that you made me fall in love with you. That you made me care about someone who pushes everyone away. That you're sitting here in chains because you were too stubborn to let me stand beside you. The charges are being dropped. Christopher was arrested this morning. Fraud. Evidence tampering. Corporate espionage. He's going to prison for a very long time. Jessica reached across the table, fingers brushing his cuffed hands. You're free, Dominic. Or you will be, after the judge reviews everything. He stared at their hands. Sterling Global is gone. The board dissolved the company. Everything I built can be rebuilt. Jessica squeezed his fingers. I have a proposition. You and me. Equal partners. A new firm. Clean slate. No lies this time. Just us, building something real. You'd trust me with that? After everything? No. Her honesty made him flinch. I don't trust you. Not completely. Not yet. But I trust that you love me. And I trust that you'll spend the rest of your life trying to be worthy of this. Of us? Dominic turned his hands over, holding hers despite the cuffs. What if I fail? What if I hurt you again? Then I'll walk away, and you'll let me. Jessica leaned closer. But I don't think you will. Because the man who took the fall to protect me? That man knows what love actually costs, and he's finally ready to pay it. The door opened. Marcus stood there, smiling. Judge signed the release. You're free, Dominic. And Christopher just agreed to a full confession in exchange for a reduced sentence. It's over. Over. The word hung in the air like a promise. Later. Standing on the courthouse steps as cameras flashed and reporters shouted questions, Dominic pulled Jessica close. I don't deserve you. Probably not. She looked up at him. But I don't deserve you either. We're both damaged. Both dangerous. Both capable of burning the world down for each other. Is that what we're doing? Burning things down? No. Jessica kissed him, soft and certain. We're building something better from the ashes. And this time, we're doing it together. No more lies. No more lies? No more games? Well, she smiled against his lips. Maybe a few. Just to keep things interesting. Dominic laughed, the sound rusty, but real. I love you, Jessica Starling. I know. She took his hand. Now let's go start a company that doesn't involve federal investigations. They walked down the courthouse steps together. Two broken people who'd found each other in the wreckage. Who'd hurt each other, betrayed each other, saved each other. Love wasn't clean. It wasn't simple. Sometimes it was manipulation and obsession and pain wrapped in passion. But sometimes, if you fought hard enough, it could become something real, something worth rebuilding the world for. Jessica glanced back once at the courthouse, at the chapter ending, at Christopher's betrayal and Dominic's sacrifice and her own desperate fight for truth. Then she looked forward, toward whatever came next. Together, the end.